Evil Dead Rise comes out April 21st in the latest film in the Evil Dead franchise. Evil Dead Rise stars Alyssa Sutherland, Lily Sullivan, and Morgan Davies, and is about two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, pushing them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. Evil Dead Rise is high on my guests' list. Shawn Jackson from Lost to the Real joins me to talk about Evil Dead Rise. I personally have not seen any of the movies in the Evil Dead franchise, and Shawn Jackson has to educate me a little bit about this franchise, its history, and why he wants to see Evil Dead Rise. Your number 3 film.
Evil Dead Rise. My top 3 are like some of my most anticipated movies of the entire year. So lots of great movies coming out in April. But Evil Dead Rise, this movie looks scary as shit. And the feedback from people coming out of South by Southwest and all of the different screenings they've had. Sometimes I'm a little cautious about like people overhyping the movie after they see it because they just want to get their name posted on articles or whatnot that they're praising the movie. So I'm always very trepidatious with that. But this definitely looks like people are loving it for all the right reasons. It looks like a great mix between the Evil Dead remake that came out about 10 years ago and then the Bruce Campbell movies, Sam Raimi movies. So there's a little bit more camp involved, but also it looks bloody and gory and twisted as well. So it just looks like a really nice happy medium of those two, and this just looks fantastic.
Yeah, when I watched the trailer for it, there is something exceedingly creepy about this film, and I am not a particular horror fan. Like if a horror film is done really well, then then I'll pay attention. Like The Black Phone last year was really, really well done.
I agree,
but I just as a genre, I'm not huge into westerns or into horror films in general, but there's always exceptions like Scream. But this film, it looks really well done, and the whole thing too of a mother and her kids and that bond, that sacred bond between a mother and their kid. The way that they play with that bond in the trailer for this film is so wrong and so creepy. Yeah. And yet somehow it kind of works. Like this isn't on my list, but it's so creepy and so well done in the trailer that you're like, oh man, what are they doing? What are they doing to these poor kids and their mom? Like, what are they doing? The other thing that and it was just I noticed it when I was taking the screen grab from the trailer to set up this podcast. It's interesting because I don't know if they're connected or not, but the smile on the evil character in the trailer or on the poster for Evil Dead Rise is using the smile from Smile. And
it definitely looks very familiar.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if that's what the character is going to look like in the final film because there's mostly the trailer had a lot of shadows and stuff. So I don't know if this is part of the same cinematic universe of horror films.
I definitely would doubt that. I just think people smiling or being happy is just creepy to people nowadays.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to A Million Ways to Die in the West. Like smiling in pictures can be creepy. But yeah, that was kind of my two thoughts on Evil Dead Rise. I have not seen. I've not seen any of the previous Evil Dead films, but have you seen?
I've seen all of them, and I mean this is such an interesting franchise because it's all over the place. It's like a roller coaster. Like one is super low budget and like so campy, and the second one it's like on the same level but it had a bigger budget. The third is like an adventure medieval fantasy type movie, and then the fourth one is like this like almost Saw Hostel levels of intense violence and gore, and then this one is just like it looks like kind of a mix of all of them together. So it's definitely Definitely an interesting franchise.
So is this the 6th film in the Evil Dead
The
franchise?
5th one.
5th film.
Yeah.
So this hasn't quite hit the reboot stage that a lot of the horror films had in the 2010s. Then it sounds
Well, I would say that the last one that came out, which was a decade ago, that one was the reboot. And that's when they kind of were like, we're going to take the campiness of the original and make a really serious, demented, twisted version of it.
Is this the series that had Bruce Campbell?
Yes.
Okay, so this is why Bruce Campbell shows up in all of the Spider-Man movies. Then this franchise is why
Yes,
we see
him
Bruce
and Sam
Campbell.
Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.